It's time for Juco Jam, presented to you by Dream Big Athletics, hosted by Tad Slowick, an exciting new podcast bringing you all the great action from Juco baseball. Here you'll find weekly updates from around the country, highlighting the teams, players, and coaches who impact the game at the junior college level. Everything you want to learn about Juco baseball can be found here and on our website at dreambigathletics.com. There you'll find our weekly team rankings, the top player rankings headed into the spring, and all the news of what is happening in the game at the junior college level. On this show, you will have many guests, coaches, players who will give us insight on the day-to-day, behind-the-scenes working of junior college baseball. And now our host, Tad Slowick.
Welcome, baseball fans, to another exciting episode of the Juco Jam Baseball Podcast, brought to you by Dream Big Athletics. I'm your host, Tad Slowick, and I'm here with my good friend, Lou Temple. Lou, how you doing today, buddy?
Ooh-wee. Vision's fine, Tad. Man, you have a lot of baseball in junior college to talk about, and I'm excited to be part of that. This week's Juco Jam, very exciting. So much going on.
Yeah, there is. I mean, it's getting to that point, too. I mean, basically, we're only about a month away from the playoffs and everything. So,
wow.
It's almost winding down. There's teams up in the Northeast there. They're just getting started, and then they're almost in the playoffs already.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
We've got a full schedule pushed through that just keeps going, and the play has been incredible all throughout. And with this last month coming up on us, we expect nothing less. You keep seeing games. One that you just saw in your neighborhood recently at Lake County, I think, right?
Yeah, Lake County, close by here. I got a chance to see two real good teams. Both of these teams are teams that have joined the Division II ranking, Morton College and Lake County. So these two teams were pretty evenly matched. They both play in that tough Region 4 with Madison, who's ranked number 3, and McHenry, who's a top 10 team, and Kankakee. I mean, they got to get by those three clubs who are traditional powerhouses. But it's going to be an interesting region this year, so I'm looking forward to seeing these teams make their runs to the championship. Lake County for game one, it was all Brennan Miller. I mean, he's right-handed pitcher for Lake County. He threw 7 innings, complete innings, and showed a real good fastball, was 86 to 89, had real good life, had some sink on that ball, and then he had a real good breaking ball, that good sharp downer curveball, which kept the hitters off stride. Because Morton's a really good hitting team.
Oh, wow.
Morton has been just tearing it up. Yeah, Morton's been tearing it up with the bats this year, and for Miller to come in here and do the job he did, just outstanding effort. And against Jeremy Fox also, too, who is just a really good pitcher for Morton. I really like his stuff, too. He's got that low three-quarter delivery, good tail and sink, which is always dear to my heart when they have that sink on their fastball. And then he's got the good late slider, too. Miller and him, when they matched up, I mean, it was just a really good game. Well played. I mean, the game, I think, was only about an hour and hour, 40 minutes, and it went real quick. And, both pitchers pounded the strike zone. And again, we talk about guys who are successful on the mound, and the ones that could change levels, the ones that have balls that drop under those barrels and stuff, and make the hitters miss that barrel. So
were you expecting Miller to step up, Tad, and deliver this type of game going in? Was he somebody that you knew?
Yeah, I mean, he's been a strong pitcher for them, and he's definitely on his game, that's for sure. And he came out at the right time and needed to be on top of his game. So he was just lights out and a horse. Went all 7 innings, so it was good stuff. It's good. Other guys that speak about Alex Brody is a guy that I really like. I talked about Morton having a great hitting attack, and he's one of the big leaders of that team. putting up some big numbers this year. He's got a great approach. I think he's getting overlooked too. I think a lot of people, especially the mid majors, should jump on him. I think he could hit in the middle of the order for a lot of mid majors, and with power. He's a big 6'3", 205-pound catcher. Can catch and throw,
Okay.
and just does a good job.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
he's also solid. And and then we had our web gem again, and guess who was by again? A shortstop.
Of course.
We have Tyler Swanson right here, going in the hole for Lake County, and just making that backhand play, and shows plenty of arm across the infield, and throws out the Morton base runner. So just another gem, and we're seeing great defense by these junior colleges, and I love to see it. So it's been really good.
It's not
like I said, the two teams end up splitting.
It's not just the play; it's reading the ball off the bat. So these guys instinctually are playing their positions and see the play happen before it happens, and they're Johnny on the spot, right man, right place. So
right, it almost seems like they're exactly, Lou. I think that's a great point. The good ones, they have that great anticipation, and they almost are running to the ball before it's hit. It seems like so.
That's great. Great play.
Good on him. Good on him. Yeah, I love to see good defense. It makes the game move along so well.
Yeah.
So let's get to the polls now too. A lot to talk about there, and like I said, only about a month away from playoffs, so it's going to be exciting.
Well, Central Arizona continues on their tear, right?
Yeah, unbelievable, 28 in a row. At the Division I level like that, that's an unbelievable task. Talk about everything coming together for them. The pitching, the defense. We saw them, a week or so ago, and they definitely looked apart. They got Cochise today, who always gives them a hard time.
Okay.
But 28 in a row is 28 in a row, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, that does.
And then
they're not doing anything wrong. They're just everything's working.
Yeah, and you got to have a little good fortune too. But when you're playing good fortune comes your way. So it's good to see them playing so well, defending national champion
for sure.
All right, and then we got the next couple of teams right here. We got Walter State, who's just been steady. They're not on no 28 game streak, but they're playing great baseball, winning a lot of games, and just holding that spot at number 2. And then we got Santa Fe and Central Florida again, playing great baseball themselves, and they got another huge 4-game series coming up this week. Santa Fe and Central Florida, two rivals that have to battle it out. They're number 3 ranked against number 4 ranked. Doesn't get better than that.
Where will that series take place, Tad? What stadium?
Well, they're going to split the. Yeah, no, they're going to split the series.
Gotcha.
They're close by each other too, so it's only an hour, 45 minutes an hour up the road, and they can get to each other pretty quick. So it's going to be another great battle, and two great teams who've really played well. Those two teams obviously look in the driver's seat for the state of Florida. But, you can't forget about Gulf Coast, who's got those 2 stud pitchers and a good quality team. And then, Miami-Dade, down there's Miami-Dade, and Florida Southwestern's got a lot of talent. So
yeah, we don't talk enough about Miami-Dade, but they've got a great program. They've played well all year as well.
Oh yeah, they're always good, and you can never count them out. Last year, you thought they were a little bit down, and they pushed Central Florida all the way to the championship game and just barely got knocked off. So they're going to be a force, and Florida Southwestern's got a lot of talent, so that Region 8 is going to be another bloodbath again down there.
I'll bet.
Well, and also a team that is on a streak and who's just been kind of slow and steady, and they just been doing nothing but winning ball games. That's Florida Tech down there in South Carolina. They're winners of 15 in a row. They have a big matchup coming in a couple weeks here at Gaston. Gaston's number 11. Gaston's been playing great baseball too, and Gaston just got a big addition for them, adding Evan Lewis, who's coming off UCL surgery from last August. in his first innings out, he has done nothing but dominate in relief. I mean, he's 92 to 96, kind of a low 3/4 slot with big life on his fastball and a huge, big, sharp late slider. And, just been dominating out of the pen. And to get a guy like that mid-season to come out and throw for you like that, and, that's just a big cherry on top. And,
Is that his
I think
place, Tad, as a short reliever, or will they stretch him out for a start?
I don't think he's far long enough to stretch out for a start. Maybe in the playoffs they could stretch him out if he's feeling it. But like I said, these are his first couple innings. Surgery last August. I'm sure they're going to take their time with him. But having a guy like that when you're in the lead late in the game to close out games, it's good. And you see him right here, throwing a great slider and doing some good things off the mound. So he's a good-looking kid, and he's going to help the Rhinos there on their run in their region.
Yeah, well, they'll need him against Flodar, who's playing so well. So that'll be another great matchup. That's another good thing about this time of the year coming into the last month. These matchups are critical.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you got McLennan, who's been a steady force in the top 10 all year. I mean, winning ball games. They're going to get a battle from Weatherford and Midland. Weatherford's playing really good baseball too. And, we saw that series down at Weatherford, and, it was a great battle between the two. Pretty evenly matched, I would say. And both have strong pitching, so that'll be a good series. Moving on to Iowa Western has been strong all spring. They're going to have to get by Indian Hills in the region, and then they're going to have to battle probably have a big showdown with Wabash Valley. So, there's some really big, exciting games coming up here in junior college baseball, and I look forward to seeing most of them.
Yeah,
so
you're going to be right there. Hey, before we get too far, I know over here on the west side in South Nevada, there was kind of a big event, and I know you wanted to shout out to a friend of yours.
Yeah, Coach Garitano over at Southern Nevada just won his 800th game. And, Southern Nevada just playing great baseball, too. I mean, Coach Garitano is going to win quite a few more games here, too, coming up, with that team he's got this year. They just took 3 out of 4 from Salt Lake. It was interesting because Salt Lake last year kind of dominated them, and they're a little payback this year where Southern Nevada just is taking care of business against pretty much everybody. So,
well, congratulations to South Nevada and particularly to Coach Garitano. Well deserved, and that's a lot of wins. 800.
That's a lot of wins. A lot of wins. It's a great career so far, and I think he's still energized and looking forward to things to come.
How about Region 7 in Johnson County over here?
Johnson County looks like the team to beat there. I mean, they've been strong from the start, and they've done nothing to show that they show any weakness. They got pitching, defense, hitting. They're doing real well. I mean, Barton has been a really nice team this year. They've won a lot of games, and it's going to be interesting when they all meet in that Region 7 final. And then don't count out Cali. They were runners up last year at the Juco World Series, and they have our strong power, so don't count them out. Those teams that have traditionally won, you can't count them out of anything.
Yeah, they have experience too when it gets into these tournaments, and it helps. They know what to do in the big games. Speaking of another division region that's very interesting is over there with Blinn.
Yeah, they've kind of taken the lead in Region 14. And believe me, they got the talent to do so. I mean, they got pitching, they got defense, they can hit the ball. Blinn is definitely a real deal. They're not just playing up there. I mean, they come to play, they play hard, and they got a really good team. And like I said, Alvin is just that scrappy team that's going to hang around there. And then you got perennial power San Jack, who a little bit down right now, but they're always a strong finisher, and they end up finding their way to the World Series somehow. So,
Well,
Blinn
can a
still
team
can't
like
keep their
Sam
foot off the
Jack,
gas.
Tad, in these tournaments, when we get into the regionals and whatnot, can they kind of flex their muscle and wake up and do some damage?
Absolutely, and that's kind of, I thought they did that kind of last year. They had a little better record last year, but I thought they did the same thing. Wharton and Alvin were challenging them for the title again, and when it came to playoffs, Sanjak took care of business and then took care of the people up north, and ended up going to the World Series again. So there's no doubt that Sanjak is very capable. They got the talent to do so, and it's just hopefully things they put things together
I'm
here
sure they
down the
will.
stretch.
Hey, let's talk about a team that I've always had kind of a curious interest about, and that's Crowder. All I see.
Crowders, they're back into form. They've had young players. Coach Lalaman down there does a great job with his kids, and he even said several times in the fall, and when I saw them earlier against Counter State, he's just said that we got some young kids who need to mature if we're going to play well, and they're playing well. So, I mean, look for Crowder to be a big force and, a big threat to go back to the World Series. I mean, the way they're playing right now. Wallace Dothan's kind of separated himself in Alabama. The Govs are a real solid bunch. And then we're jumping to Division II here with LSU Eunice, who's just a monster, 39-0. I mean, just they just are a strong team, okay? But see, now I bring up Wallace Dothan because they got a big matchup against Wallace Dothan this weekend. And if anybody has a chance of knocking them off, I think Wallace Dothan does. The Govs play good baseball. They got Cade Snell, a left-handed pitcher
Right.
who's, 4-0, 1.66, 54 Ks, 14 walks. I mean, he just has a chance to dominate. And that's a tough lineup that Eunice has. The Bengals can swing the bat, but the Snell has a chance of shutting them down. And, like I said, it's not going to be, it's going to be a tight series because, Wallace Dothan can pitch and play defense, and that'll keep them in all those games. Should definitely be fun.
How about Heartland? What do they have going?
Heartland, just steady Eddies. I mean, just they're mashers. They're just a strong team, as well as Madison and Pearl River. All those teams are extremely strong and capable of, taking the title or challenging for the title against LSU. So it's going to be, you're going to see those teams around in the end. And, let's talk about a team who's on fire also is Lansing. Lansing has just reeled off 20 wins in a row behind the bats of Hunter Lay and Shane Jude. I mean, they're swinging the bats good and just pummeling people. I mean, they're taking care of business in their region. They're going to have to get past Kellogg and stuff, who's a good program, but they just look next to unstoppable right now.
Have they faced some good pitching that they just beat up on?
Yeah, I mean, they just have that kind of strength in their lineup. We saw them in the fall. They looked really strong with a solid lineup from top to bottom. And, they played some good teams early. They traveled down and played some good teams down south early on. And, now I think they're just feeling it, catching their stride and playing good baseball. You'll hear from them at the end, too.
And finally, who are some other teams in Division II to round out your poll?
Meridian's playing real strong. Iowa Central strong. Pasco is really strong. Murray State and Oklahoma has been very good. And then St. John's River, so St. John's River and Pasco will have to battle it out there for that Florida dominance down there. And, I think that's going to be a great matchup between them. And then don't forget about Southeastern Iowa. I mean, they are playing really well. They just took 2 out of 3 from Iowa Western.
Those are big wins. Wow.
Huge wins. And, that just shows that they got pitching and the caliber team to really be a threat at the top of this Division II.
Well, now we're finally in the flow with Division III. I'm always enjoying talking Division III, and there's a team in Division III that is also playing exceptionally well.
Yep, Caldwell Tech, 24 in a row. I mean, you think about it. I mean, Central Arizona's won 28 in a row, number 1 ranked. LSU Eunice has won 39 in a row, number 1 ranked. Caldwell Tech, 24 in a row, number one ranked. I guess that's why they're number one ranked, is they bring it every day.
Wow. And they're scoring some
I mean,
runs, these guys.
oh, oh yeah, big time, averaging over 10 runs a game. They got Bo Davidson, who's got 11 homers. Hayden Setzer's got 10. They just swing the bats and they just pummel you to death. I mean, and that's warm weather down there, and they're playing good baseball. They run into a lot of good teams, and just just hats off to them for the streak they're on. I mean, they're just playing great baseball. And then you got the team from Texas, who's, believe me, won't take a back seat to Caldwell Tech. I mean, they're a strong team. They play in a strong region down there, and play a lot of quality baseball against a lot of quality teams. They play a lot of Division I teams, and so they're going to be well battle tested when those two possibly meet up in the World Series. Eastfield, very strong. They got Gus Witt, Jaden Morgan, guys who could really swing the bat, and then Angel Rodriguez in that cleanup spot, who's just been a monster with 12 home runs. And, then they got Hunter O'Shea, who can hit, but most importantly, I think he anchors that defense down. They got good pitching.
Right.
I just think Eastfield is just very well equipped to make a big time run.
Well, and they swing the bats, like you said. I mean, they're no doubt.
Absolutely.
And then over on the East Coast, things are starting to play. We're starting to get some games under their belts.
Yeah, the Northeast starting to heat up, and they're playing game after game.
Okay.
You know how it is up north.
Yeah.
They got to condense their series. They can't spread things out, and you got to deal with rainouts and weather and all sorts of things up there. But they're starting to get pretty heated up, and there's some really good clubs this year up there in the Northeast. Traditional Gloucester is just playing outstanding. Niagara County is playing great also. Then defending national champion Herkimer. I mean, they got the experience, they got the swagger still to make that run back to the World Series. And Brookdale from New Jersey is playing real well. So Gloucester will have their hands full with Brookdale, and Niagara County and Herkimer will probably face off eventually, to get a bid to the World Series.
Yeah, I can see that happening again. And then we have Owens.
Owens, from Ohio. I mean, a really strong club. Each year, usually them or Oakton end up going to the World Series. They're 27-2. They won 8 in a row. I mean, what's there not to like? They're playing great baseball, good. And then, Genesee, I think is kind of the feel good story.
Okay.
They are playing real well, 18-1, and just playing good. And then don't forget about powerful Northern Essex, who's catching fire, and they'll be a big time factor, come the postseason also. So it'll be well.
And then what about where you are, right in the home state of Illinois there?
Yeah, the local clubs here, it's going to be interesting. DuPage is playing real well as Joliet. Joliet plays a real strong schedule. I mean, they go down to Texas early in the year and play a lot of big clubs, a lot of D1 clubs, and so they're really battle tested. They'll battle it out with DuPage, and then, Oakton's off to kind of a slow start right now, but Coach Frado always seems to get them rolling by playoff time, and I think that'll be the case this year. And so those three teams are going to really have quite a battle to see who comes out of Region 4 this year.
Well, all these divisions, all these regions are so exciting this time of year. We're starting to eat up most of the schedule and getting into the last leg, and it's just exciting to see who's going to make the bids, make the tournaments, and how they'll do. So we've talked about an awful lot today, and there's continued games. This is a huge week, so I'm excited as well. And Tad, you always add your magic and your spin on it, which is why we tune in here on the Juco Jam. And for all your junior college information, your rankings, your player rankings, don't forget to drop into dreambigathletics.com. That's where we're at. And I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, no, it's great, and it's great to talk about these teams and have first knowledge of them. Having seen them play this year, and that's the goal, is to get out and see as many teams as I possibly can. So I could speak the truth, speak the way I've actually seen them and know what kind of team that they got and put together. So
Well, you do
it's all
that
good.
because you've been jamming, buddy, and you're still doing it. So
Out and hopefully get to see a lot more good junior college baseball. It's been a great year so far, and I'm looking forward to a great finish. So as always, Lou, thanks for joining us here, and we jammed a lot this morning, and it's always a fun deal. So great to see you, and until the next episode of Juco Jam, this is Tad Slowick, and we'll see you at the baseball field.
You've been listening to Juco Jam. For all your junior college needs, go to dreambigathletics.com and make sure to tune in to next week's episode of Juco Jam.